Brittany, how are you? Hey Jamie, long time no see. Alright, let's make our coffee. Good morning. I did. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Thank you so much for asking. I did. Shake and bacon. Boop. Boop. Chalk zero, cookie butter. Oh, very exciting. That's extremely exciting, Nikki. It's so good. Just like stick a spoon in it. Taste taste it. It's so good. But then like make coffee with it if you make coffee, because it's even better. Like the coffee, I don't know, it's all phenomenal. Whatever, it's so great. Hold on a second, let me take this crazy. Good morning, friends. After Thanksgiving, mine was good. How was yours? Coffee's your goal. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you at all. Coffee's always my goal. Coffee is the goal. Yes. And then we're gonna read. In case you're wondering why I've ended this slime, it's because everybody has been wanting it and it's been out of stock for a really long time, and I think they dropped the price. I've been wanting to try Chalk Zero. Do you love it? I do love the majority of Chalk Zero products. I don't love all of them, and I definitely don't love them all equally, but the cookie butter that Nikki is discussing right now, if you hold on, I'll show you what I'm talking about, is one of the greatest sugar-free things that has ever existed on this planet. There's almost nothing better. It's so good. And if you put it in your coffee, it's like, it's stupid good. They also make a pretty good Nutella replacement that is also really good in coffee. Didn't do bad for my first time. You did great for your first time putting on a ring sling, Mary. I don't say didn't do too bad, say did great, because you did great. Their cookie butter is dangerous. I agree, Joy. It is, yeah, it's dangerous. Other things that I really love from them, they have this new cookie called, I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but it's Joie, so maybe Joie or Joy, or I don't know. But it's a cookie that is flavored orange chocolate. You know, like how orange chocolates are really popular with like German people at Christmas and whatever like that, because, you know, yada yada. They're real good. So it has like a layer of ganache chocolate in the inside and regular cookies that are just a little orange flavored on the outside. Chef's kiss, real good. They also make amazing like freeze-dried marshmallows that are kind of like what you would get in like Lucky Charms, for example. I'm so glad they worked for you, Mary. That makes me feel like I'm really helping people with those videos. That's great, because you did a phenomenal job. If that was your first time putting on a ring sling and it was because you watched my videos, then I'm an amazing teacher, because you did great. Taking advantage of Black Friday to try new things. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the other things I really love from them. I also love their Smallow spread. It's kind of like a marshmallow fluff spread, basically, and I put it on an English muffin with almond butter, and it's kind of like having a Nutter butter, essentially, like a sugar-free Nutter butter. So that's kind of exciting. Hold on, I want to sip of this coffee. The strawberry wafers are good, but they're not as good as the other stuff. And I hate how easily they fall apart. So they're very messy. Oh, I know, it's amazing, right, Mary? It's amazing. I mean, you see it every day here. They fall right to sleep in the ring slings. You know what's a really interesting thing? I'm not going to belabor this point too much, but I do want to mention it because Mary's bringing up a really good point. So if any of you follow Hope and Plum, the company that I get a lot of my carriers from, you might see a lot of their like baby, their nursing and baby wearing content, and how they get a lot of hate, which seems weird when you say that, right? You're like, what would provoke a random person on the internet to hate on someone for holding their baby? Like, let that sink in for a second. There are people who are getting hate because they hold their baby or they nurse their baby. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this, but you gotta hold your baby. Like, you literally have to. You don't have to nurse your baby because like formula exists now, but you literally have to hold your baby. There have been studies that like babies who aren't held don't develop properly and emotionally, everything. Like, read the study. It's literally the requirement. So hating on someone for holding their baby is actual insanity. It's insane, Susan. Like, I can't believe that this is still happening to people. I'm so sorry it's happening to you. I will happily send anyone who wants studies about why this is useful, even at 18 months. There are so many people that tell like the people feed in the bath. That's so gross. Would you want to eat in the bathroom? Ew, I shouldn't be nursing my baby in the bathroom just because you're uncomfortable. Like, grow up. Insane, Mary. That's insane that someone said that to you. I'm so sorry that they did that to you. But like, it's crazy to me. You literally can't spoil a baby. Like, their brain doesn't work like that. They don't understand what that means. But Susan, that's so not true. Like it's crazy that people think that, because then they'll tell you, oh, just put them in a stroller. Very funny, Brian. That is funny. Like, they'll say, oh, you hold them too much, you should just put them in a stroller. And it's like, you know, that's a container, right? Yeah, tell them to eat that. Oh no, yeah, I know, you know, Susan, I'm just saying it to these crazy people. And you know what the weird thing is? The people who leave these hate comments are always older women. Isn't that strange? And to them I would say, where is your sisterhood?
Right, like, just you explaining, like, working at one of the best hospital, like children's hospital.
Yeah, Grayson works at a children's hospital, in case you guys didn't know. So that's what they're talking about right now.
And like, when the parents can't stay overnight because they have other kids and all that,
yeah,
the amount of nurses that I see that go out of their way to just stay in that baby's room,
yeah,
to hold them, to soothe them.
You have to.
I mean, if I'm not busy on the floor, because I don't have a nurse's job, so
yeah,
my job's a little more flexible.
Just hold the babies.
I go and I hold and I feed the babies for them.
Just hold
because
the
they're
babies.
like, oh, I gotta go deal with this other thing. Can you just feed the baby?
Tell me you don't have a good relationship with your grown children without telling me that, Nikki. That is literally no. This if I could still wait, maybe I can pin a comment. Can I pin? Can I pin comments? I don't know. Did they take pins away? Like, this is literally it right here. It won't let me pin you. I don't know why. Everybody hates me. It's fine. But Nikki's right. You can always tell they get defensive because they can't even admit the way they did things with. Exactly. 100%. Everything all of you were saying is correct. 100%. But it's like, it's an actual biologically proven thing that holding your baby is necessary, right? And it's like, I mean, they say these things about, they're like, oh, well, like Susan's son who's 18 months, and oh, I know, Nikki, I wish that still existed. I would totally do it when I'm an old lady. If they still had the, I'm not Kristen Chenoweth, who apparently hates, I know, crazy. She did still get you that. That's something, Susan. But like, they say, like, oh, you hold your 18-month-old too much, but you realize that an 18-month-old's legs is gonna get tired. Like, it's not an adult. It's not even a 5-year-old that can continuously walk. So you're saying you would rather me use a stroller than have them regulate their system by being able to hear my heartbeat. You would rather them not be able to smell me and be comfortable and sleep well. You'd rather them be against fabric and plastic instead. Okay, well, that's fun for you. Or like, I mean, any number of different things. Like, especially like if a baby is sick, I hear so many people who like, my kid grew out of being worn. Let's say their kid's 3 or 4. Most 3 or 4-year-olds aren't worn, you know what I mean? Unless it's like a long hike or something like that. But they'll say like, but when the kid is sick, they ask to be worn again because it helps them regulate and it helps them like breathe your scent. Everything feels just more comfortable. And I'm like, that's so great that the kids who had that experience are cognizant enough of how good it is for them. Like, when she's really tired, if I pull out this ring sling, she'll grab for it, you know? I'm so glad that my best friend got me a sling when Izzy was a baby. She's 26. It's an amazing, 26 years ago. I'm so glad that you had that. My mom definitely didn't wear us My brother and sister's dad had some like primitive soft structured carrier that he tried to wear Catherine in. We have a picture of it. It's kind of hilarious. But the only issue I have is when they refuse to be able to be on their own. Yeah, but usually if a kid refuses to be on their own, it has something else going on, not because they're worn. Like, you guys know this kid. I wear her every day a lot, and like, Grayson's been here and can attest, like, if she could, she would just bolt to the other side of the room. If you put her down on the floor, she's like, bye. And you're like, oh, okay, bye. Like, we take her to her class. I put her down on the floor where I know it's safe in her class, and she runs off to play with her friends. Doesn't care that I'm there. You know what I mean? She's like, bye, Mom. You know? And she's worn every day, and it has no effect on that. If she could walk, she'd run. I guarantee it. And it'll happen soon. But, I mean, she's only 10 months, so it's like, whatever. But, you know.
She tried to run this morning.
She tried to run this morning. She really did. I tried to help her practice walking, and she was like, but I can crawl faster, and got down on the floor and was gone. And I was like,
okay.
Okay, well, I was trying to help you, but you do you, independent lady. So wearing your kid does not make, it happens so fast, I know, Jamie, but the point of what I'm saying is wearing your kid does not make them not want to go and do stuff on their own. Sometimes I wish it would make her a little less runaway. But that is not the case. She is an independent lady who does what she wants to do in her own time. Okay, well, now that I've gotten that off of my chest, it's time for us to read something completely different. Wait, your kid is independent? Weird. I know, it's so funny. But what Nikki said is also true. Like, usually if you talk to the people who say things like that to you and you're like, oh, how's your relationship with your adult children? And they're like, well, we're low contact. It's like, there you go. The ring sling I got the other day, I find it has warning labels on it. They all have warning labels on them. If your ring sling does not have a warning label on it, it's either multiple decades old or someone removed the warning label. So I have one here. You can see this has a warning label on it as well. That is a legal requirement for anyone who is selling them in the United States. Oh, it has no label. Oh, someone probably removed it then, I would guess. Some people do that for aesthetic reasons, but I just leave mine on because I'm wondering, like, what if I ever pass them on to someone else? I want them to be able to read the info one day, you know, because like Ray passed all of her stuff on to me. What if I pass mine on to someone else, you know, when my babies are grown? So I leave my warning labels on. I get why someone would want to take it off for aesthetic reasons. Like, it's not cute. I get that. But I don't know. I don't want to risk it, you know, so I just leave mine on. It is what it is, right? Okay, so today we are going to read chapter 2 of Worlds Collide. This is the last book in the original 6 of the Land of Stories series. And what we found out yesterday, for anyone who was not with us yesterday, is that Alex is being, as we know, controlled by, I completely agree, Sloth, completely agree. I think you already know that I agree. Alex is being controlled by Marina via the dust from the Snow Queen's broken mirror. My stepmom says stuff like that, like you're yeah, oh, it's insane. Now you said it's totally insane. And she's attacking the New York City Public Library, probably with the intention of attacking New York City. It sounds like they're trying to bring the lion statues to life as her, like, guardians. So that's where we were when we left off yesterday. And let's go ahead and keep going. Chapter 2 is page 29 for those who are keeping track for their Goodreads. And by the way, if you haven't added me on Goodreads, if you have one, I also update every time we read something for book club, and I have a whole book club like thing there. So you can, there's a link in my bio if you want to add me on Goodreads if you ever want to see everything we're reading. I'm like, she holds her all the time. She wants to hold, yeah, oh, literally 100%. Now you said, you know, I agree with that. Okay, this chapter is called Accidental Yet Unexplainable. The Willowcrest Fire Department had never seen an incident like the one at St. Andrew's Children's Hospital. The firefighters were called in the middle of the night to view a damage report from an explosion, but when they arrived, they had no idea what they were looking at. There weren't any flames to extinguish, there was hardly any debris to clear, and the remaining walls of the hospitals weren't blackened or singed by this alleged blast. As far as they could tell, the woman's bathroom hadn't really exploded as much as it had just vanished. It's not damaged, it's just, well, it's missing, one firefighter said to another. If there had been an explosion, this place would have been covered in porcelain bits, but there's not a piece of bathroom anywhere. The warning labels have a feel to them. They have a bad feel to them. These ones are actually really soft. It's like kind of silky. They actually don't have like a gross feeling to them. It's like super soft. Yeah. Well, the hospital staff swears there was a fully functioning bathroom right here just a few hours ago, the second firefighter said. If it wasn't an explosion, what could have removed a bathroom so quickly? The firefighters asked all around the hospital, but no one had witnessed the phenomenon. Further complicating the strange situation, they checked the grounds surrounding the hospital just in case the bathroom had been detached by perhaps some sort of tractor, but there were no tracks on the ground either. Well, what should I put on the report? The first firefighter asked the second. The hospital's insurance company is going to need something from us, but I can't exactly say that the bathroom got up and walked away. Can you write accidental yet unexplainable? The second firefighter said. I think this case is above our pay grade. They're going to need an investigation to get to the bottom of this, like a thorough investigation. With no further assessment to make, the firefighters taped the area off and gave the hospital manager the contact information for a destruction investigator who lived in the next town. The specialist wasn't available for another week, so the missing bathroom remained a giant and mysterious hole until his arrival. The differences in textures, yeah, I understand that, but if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I don't ever even feel it because it's not really on a part of the ring sling that you touch. It's usually on the bottom of the tail. Like you can see it right now because I have it tucked up to be her pillow. But if I didn't have it tucked up like this, I don't really ever touch it. I hardly ever even notice that it's there physically because it's just not a part that you are using. It's not a part of the physical use part. The scene was completely untouched until the middle of the night on the eve of the inspector's visit. A 15-year-old young man stepped over the yellow tape and had a seat in the doorway that led to nowhere. His eyes were baggy, his heart was heavy, and he hunched as if the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. Deep in thought, he gazed through the large hole at the buildings of downtown Willowcrest in the distance. The young man had hoped that if he returned to the missing bathroom, it might provide answers to the questions that were haunting him. Unfortunately, all the answers had disappeared with the bathroom. Hey, Connor, a 16-year-old young woman suddenly peeked into the hospital from outside, almost giving Connor a heart attack. She wore a purple beanie, had blonde hair with a streak of pink and purple at the front of it. Hey, Bree, Connor said. What are you doing here? I thought you were grounded for running away. Oh, I am, Bree said. I'm not allowed to leave the house until college. I've never seen my parents so furious. As far as they know, I snuck off to visit family in Connecticut. I can't imagine how angry they'd be if they knew we actually flew to Germany and back. What if you get caught sneaking out then? Connor asked. Don't worry, I won't, Bree said. I've been sneaking out of the house since I was 8. I put a wax head on my pillow, and I leave a cassette playing some snoring in case my parents check out my bedroom. That's both impressive and really scary, Connor said, and Bree just shrugged. It's like the Laurel Thatcher Urick said, we well-behaved women seldom make history. It's funny to hear all this knowing that Bree and Connor end up married. It's very funny, and that's not a spoiler because that was in the prologue of this book, but it's very funny. She climbed into the hospital and carefully stepped on the remaining floorboards so that she didn't fall into the basement below, and she had a seat next to Connor in the doorway. You were at home, so I figured you had to be here. Yeah, I wanted to take one last look at the damage before the inspector starts digging around tomorrow, he said. You know, just in case there was something we missed. Any luck finding Alex? Bree asked. No, not at all, Connor said with a sigh. It's been a week since she disappeared, and we haven't found a single clue as to where she went. My mom and stepdad have looked all over town, but there's no sign of her. Jack, Red, and Lester are all searching the fairy tale world as we speak, but so far they haven't returned with news of anything. It's so bizarre. Bree said. I barely know her, but it seems really out of character for her to run off like that. Has she ever done anything like this before? Connor's knee-jerk reaction was to defend his sister's reputation. The more he thought about it, though, the more he remembered that it wasn't entirely unlike her to go missing. Sort of, he recalled. Alex went through this weird phase not too long ago. She'd get overwhelmed about something and she would lose control of her powers, but the circumstances, they were so different. She was really stressed out and really easy to provoke. What was she stressed out about? Well, it was back when we were searching the fairy tale world for our Uncle Lloyd, he explained. All her hunches were right about him and no one wanted to believe her. The fairy tale council thought that she was becoming reckless, so they ordered her to stop looking for him. Alex got so upset that she disappeared into a ball of flames, but she resurfaced a couple of days later. Oh, Bree said, so maybe it isn't out of character for her? Disappearing, maybe, but she's not the type who abandons her friends in their hour of need, Connor said. Things were finally looking up for a change. We just recruited all the characters from my story. We're finally ready to fight the literary army into the fairy tale world, so why would she vanish now? It makes no sense. Well, the detective in me wants to believe your uncle had something to do with it, especially if he was the reason behind her previous outbursts, Bree said. But Emmerich and I were with him the entire time he was in the other world, and Alex never laid eyes on him. If she was provoked, it was by somebody else. Connor nodded. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to figure out. Alex's behavior puzzled them as much as the vanished bathroom puzzled the fire department, and just like the firefighters, they knew that they were missing a piece of this story. Unfortunately, there was no specialist that they could call to help them solve Alex's disappearance. So, how are all the characters doing? Bree asked. They're a little stir-crazy from being cooped up in the commissary, Connor said. We have to let them outside for fresh air in shifts so no one around here gets suspicious. Bob has been teaching the Merry Men and the Lost Boys how to play football at the park to burn off some energy. My mom has rewrapped all the mummies with fresh bandages so that the commissary smells a lot better. And the cyborgs have blown, well, every fuse in the hospital from using the outlets too much. The Ziblings have been patrolling downtown at night to get their hero fixed so that the city's crime rate has actually gone down. And the Starboardia pirates found a television and they've been watching I Love Lucy reruns nonstop. It annoys everyone else, but at least it keeps them occupied. Glad everyone's hanging in there, Bree said. I can't imagine what it's like for you. Being in the cemetery of the undead for even a couple hours was surreal enough for me, but you have been surrounded by your creations for days. It's gotta feel like some kind of trippy family reunion. Oh, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Once you've seen your elderly grandmother slay a dragon, everything else kind of pales in comparison, Connor laughed. Speaking of family reunions, though, did Cornelia and Emmerich get to Germany safely? It was so kind of her to offer him a ride home. Yeah, thankfully, Bree said. Cornelia and Emmerich and Frau Himmelsbach happened to be very happily reunited. Oh, sorry. Cornelia said that Emmerich and Frau Himmelsbach were very happy to be reunited. They're also moving to Australia to get as far away from Neuschwanstein Castle as possible. Wanda and Brenda have been stranded in Bavaria since your Uncle Lloyd kidnapped us, so Cornelia picked them up and flew them all back to Connecticut yesterday. I was amazed at how well Cornelia handled all of this, Connor said. Usually people freak out when they learn about other dimensions, but she barely flinched. Bree forced a smile and nodded. She hadn't been completely honest with Connor. He knew that Bree was in Connecticut when she learned Emmerich had been kidnapped, and he knew that Cornelia had generously offered to fly Bree to Germany so that they could help Emmerich's mother look for him, and he knew that they happened to be in Neuschwanstein Castle when Uncle Lloyd brought Emmerich back to the other world. However, Connor had been so overwhelmed by Alex's disappearance that Bree thought it was best to leave out the details. She never mentioned why she had gone to visit her family in Connecticut, that she discovered that they were part of a secret league known as the Sisters Grimm, or that their extensive history of tracking the portals into the fairy tale world made them know a lot more. Bree hoped a better time would present itself so that she could fill Connor in, but the longer Alex was gone, the more inappropriate it felt. At Cornelia's age, there's not really a whole lot that shocks her, Bree said. In fact, when you get a minute, I'd love to tell you more about my trip to her. But Bree was interrupted by the sound of footsteps coming from the hallway behind them. A moment later, Trollbella appeared in the doorway of the missing bathroom. The young troll queen immediately crossed her arms and scowled at the sight of Bree and Connor in the same location. Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't keep her away from your man, it seems, Trollbella quipped. Connor rolled his eyes. What do you want, Trollbella?
I came to let you know that Beansprout, the Frog Mistress, and Plucky McGee have returned.
Who? Bree asked. She means Jack, Red, and Lester are back from the fairy tale world, Connor said, and he quickly jumped to his feet. Maybe they know something about Alex. Trobella, will you let Mom and Bob know? They're working a night shift on the 3rd floor.
I am not your errand girl, Butterboy, Trobella said. There will be no more favors until you are ready to commit.
Fine, Connor said. Bree, will you please let Mom and Bob...
Fine. I'll go fetch my butter in-laws, Trobella said. But please stop begging. I hate to see how vulnerable you've become without me.
Connor and Bree ran down the hall toward the commissary as Trobella fetched Charlotte and Bob. They found all their friends from Oz, Neverland, Sherwood Forest, and the Land of Stories. In Connor's stories, the adventures of Blimp Boy, the Ziblings, and Galaxy Queen were all huddled around Jack and Red. The only ones who weren't paying any attention to their arrival were the pirates from Storbordia, who never looked away from the television.
Are they still watching that ditzy woman?
Red asked.
The other world may be advanced, but it does sure lead to some really awful habits.
Well, Connor asked, getting straight to the point, did you find my sister? Jack slowly shook his head. No, he said. We looked at all the places we thought that she would be, in the ruins of the fairy palace, the giant's castle in the sky, the clock tower of the charming palace, but we found no trace of her.
The news was so disappointing that Connor had to sit down. If Alex wasn't in the fairy tale world, he didn't know where else to look. His train of thought shifted from thinking of places she might be to worrying that she might never be found.
I'm sorry that you didn't find Alex, but I'm so glad you're back, Goldilocks told Jack as she cradled their newborn son. It's a miracle you weren't spotted, even at Lester's heights.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. Did you see that? That was amazing. She was like, you're still here. Thank goodness. I thought if I slept, you'd be gone. It's not true. Jack went to his wife's side and kissed Hero on the forehead. Red gave Goldilocks a large hug from behind, as if the sentiment were meant for her.
Oh, Goldilocks, it's so good to see you're back on your feet, Red pointed out. All right, let's get you out of here. Hold on.
You can cuddle with Boo for a second, and then if you want, you can go in your chair. You want to cuddle with Boo for a second? You can. I know, we were just talking about that this morning, Nikki. It's going to be so hard when they leave.
She's going to be sad girl for a little bit.
She's not going to understand.
Yeah?
Honey, what's wrong? Do you want to go in your chair? You can go in your chair. You can go in your chair. It's okay. Chair right here.
Where's your BTs? Yep.
BT. Here, mommy help.
First.
BT's first.
Yay! Want this one?
She goes, Boo, don't you go anywhere though.
Don't you leave me.
Okay, those.
Do you want a snack, Miss C? Do you want a snack? No, you're just content to watch Boo doing whatever they're doing? That seems good to you? Okay, fine. Sweetheart, do you want food? Look at mommy, baby. Honey, hungry? Do you want food? Yeah? Do you want milk? No? Okay, fine. You don't have to have it. The drool spot, yes. There are many drool spots on me. This is just one. One drool spot for today. Excuse me. Let me continue.
Oh my god, is it safe for you to be walking again so soon after birth?
Red, I had a baby, not a whale, Goldilocks said. Anyway, how's the fairy tale world? Are the conditions any better? It's exactly as we left it, Jack told the room. The citizens from all the kingdoms are still being held in Swan Lake if they're not building monuments to the emperors. The literary army is lined up on the lawns of the Northern Palace, but all they do is march all day as if they're waiting for something to happen. It sounds like they're preparing for battle, Goldilocks said. They couldn't be expecting us, could they? I just imagine it's a scare tactic to keep the citizens from rebelling, Jack said. They haven't discovered the royal families in the abandoned mines, so I doubt they've caught wind of us. I mean, how could they? The others in the mine, are they still made of stone? Goldilocks asked. Unfortunately so, Jack said, and the same goes for the Fairy Council.
Oh, it was a terrible sight, Red said, and she shuddered at the thought. All their faces were frozen in like the most unattractive expressions of terror. If someone turns me into stone, I hope they have the decency to tell me something amusing beforehand. What about the creature that did it? The Tin Man asked. Was there any sign of it or what it was?
They wouldn't be here if they had seen it,
Bluebow said, recalling the terrifying moment that he had spent in its presence.
All it took was one glance and boom, everyone went stiff as a rock. I wouldn't be here if my eyes hadn't been closed.
After having Helen, we went to Walmart. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I was up like an hour later, for sure. Commander Neuters gulped fearfully and turned to Connor. There are creatures that turn others into stone in the land of stories, he asked. Okay, look, it didn't come from the land of stories or the fairy tale world, Connor said. It must have been a character that my uncle recruited using the portal potion. I just don't know what story it's from. Well, does it have to be from literature? Beau Rogers asked. If I didn't know better, I would say that you were talking about Medusa from Greek mythology. What's a Medusa? Peter Pan asked. Oh, she's a horrible monster, Beau Rogers animatedly replied. Legend says she has a long, scaly body, fangs, snakes for hair, and just one glaze and... glaze? Again? We're doing this again, Sasha? We really can't read the word gaze? Just one gaze into her red eyes will turn you into a statue. The Lost Boys covered their eyes and ears and mouths at the young archaeologist's frightening description. The Blissworm, on the other hand, clapped his tiny hands together, anxious to meet her. Don't worry, lads, Robin Hood said. I have courted many a maiden who turned out to be far worse. With just a few verses of a romantic poem, she will be putty in my hands. The Prince of Thieves did not make anyone feel better about the situation, especially not Connor. He got to his feet and started pacing around the room. A very difficult decision had to be made, and Connor couldn't delay it another moment. We can't waste any more time, he said. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go fight the literary army and reclaim the fairy tale world. I never thought that we'd have to do this without my sister, but we can't let the people suffer any longer. Poor Alex, Red said. There have been many times that I've disappeared for some time, but I always return after like a couple of hours. I hope that she'll resurface in time to help us. Oh, you see, Dad. She put so much work into recruiting this army, it would be such a shame if she missed the war completely. Suddenly, Goldilocks' face lit up with an idea. Red's nonsense always had a funny way of putting things into perspective for her. Hold your horses, Goldilocks said. Which horses? The Tin Woodsman asked. No, it's a figure of speech, Goldilocks said, and got back to her point. We've been looking at the literary army and at Alex's disappearance like they're separate situations, but what if they're more related than we think? After all, we are at war, and Alex is a key player in it. It's very possible that someone is using Alex to sabotage us. Perhaps it's time we stop asking where Alex went and start asking who took her. Of all the directions Connor's mind had gone in the last week, this was a conclusion he had never come to. His sister was so powerful and so strong-minded that it was hard to imagine that someone could abduct her from the hospital without anyone noticing, especially someone from the literary army. It means to be stable. That's very funny, Nikki. That's very funny. And I also never thought of that. They couldn't have taken Alex, Connor said. Even if the literary army knew that we existed, they have no way of accessing the other world. Besides, I think that one of us would have noticed if like a card soldier or a flying monkey were just walking around here. I didn't say it was the literary army, Goldilocks said. In times of conflict, there's always an enemy you know, and there's always an enemy you don't. The literary army may be who we're up against, but who's a third party that we're forgetting to consider? Who else would benefit if either of the armies was defeated? The whole commissary went quiet as all the characters thought this over. It was highly likely that they were leaving someone out of the equation, but who could it be? Who or what was invested in the upcoming war as much as they were? Who, at that very moment, was also assembling in secret to form a plan to dominate the fairy tale world? The answer hit Bree like a bolt of lightning. The realization made her gasp so loud that all the characters jumped. I know, she exclaimed. Hey, Tiffany. We're forgetting about the witches. We know that they have access to the other world because one of them kidnapped Emmerich using the portal in Neuschwanstein Castle. Hey, I think you're onto something, Jack said. Connor, do you remember the night that we followed the masked man into the witches' brew? The witches were meeting there because they were afraid that they'd get blamed for the missing children. They were paranoid that a witch hunt was coming. It's very likely that they're beginning to plot to take over the fairy tale world as a way to protect themselves. The Yeah, then the masked man invaded with the literary army, Goldilocks said. The witches probably kidnapped Emmerich so that they would have leverage against your uncle. So maybe they plan to use Alex as leverage against us. Of course the witches are up to some scheme, Red said. I mean, like, they're witches. Hello. I wouldn't be surprised if that goat who took Charlie has something to do with it. The Lost Boys and I found the missing children in her basement, after all. Marina probably kidnapped them to purposely stir up paranoia in the witch community so that they had a reason to plot a takeover. I bet she's behind the whole thing. Everyone froze and looked at Red in shock. If she was correct, it was a little unsettling how easy it was for her to figure out Marina's intentions. Don't look at me like that, Red said. It takes a conniving genius to know a conniving genius. Obviously, there's a type of woman that Charlie's attracted to. But how could the witches know that we were even planning to defeat the literary army? How do they even know we're a threat? Connor asked, and Bree looked at him like the answer was obvious. Connor, they figured out Emmerich was your cousin before your uncle even did, she reminded him. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for a witch to look into, like, a crystal ball and figure out what we're doing with a bunch of interdimensional beings inside the children's hospital. Unfortunately, this made all too much sense. A witch could easily have crossed into the other world and snuck into the hospital without being detected. They could have used magic to overpower Alex and take her back to the fairy tale world as a hostage. Connor prayed for a clear answer all week, but he never guessed how much an answer would complicate matters. Okay, wait. Let's lay everything out on the table before we go any further, he said. Which table? The Tin Woodman asked. Also a figure of speech, Connor said. Okay, not only do we have to liberate the fairy tale world from the scariest villains in literature and slay a mythological creature before it turns us all into stone, but we also have to defeat an evil coven of witches before they use my sister against us. If you need to cut stuff, you can just put her in here for a second. She'll be fine. Oh, I know, but you were looking like you were... It's easier to put her in here for a second, and then...
No, I wasn't going to put her in there.
Oh, okay.
I was ready to sit in there.
Oh, okay. All the characters in the commissary shared glances with wide and timid eyes. The Blissworm, however, cheered. It couldn't wait for the battle to begin. I know what you're thinking, Connor said. This is much different of a fight than you signed up for. If the Witchers are involved, then we're easily outnumbered, especially if they have my sister. I was confident that we could defeat the literary army, but I am not sure that we can win this war. Connor rubbed his hands together, desperately trying to think of a way to get the odds back in their favor. Jack had a seat beside him and placed a hand on his friend's shoulder. For once I'm with the Blissworm, Jack said. We've seen a lot of scary situations over the years, but we've always gone through them together. Yes, there are many times when your sister's magic went a long way, but we would never have pulled through if it wasn't for both of you. Now look around, Connor. You're surrounded by an army from your imagination. That means there's a piece of you inside each and every one of them. Even if it's just a fraction of your bravery, your aptitude, or even your wit, I know those bastards won't stand a chance against us. It was the exact pep talk that Connor needed to hear. It was also inspiring all the characters in the commissary. Jack's words made even the pirates of Starboardia look up from the television for the first time. Uh-oh. You okay? This is going to be dangerous, Connor said. We love danger, the Lost Boy shouted. Some of us might get hurt, Connor added. Well, speak for yourself, the Cyborg Queen said. I can just, add feelings in my settings and adjust it. Regardless of what happens, at the end of the day, we're all going to be heroes, Bolt said, and he flipped through the air. Connor couldn't help but smile at his character's willingness to help him. He never thought his own creations would inspire him so much. All right, he said. It's going to be a challenge, but we can totally do this. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go into the fairy tale world, and we're going to kick some literary, mythological, witchy butt. And all the characters cheered. The Blissworm was happy. They were all finally on the same page. Did you hear that, men? Robin Hood said. We are on the eve of war. Bless you, my angel. We shall follow this sorcerer valiantly into battle, and we shall be showered with the riches after our victory. Robin, no one's getting paid for this, Connor said. Oh, Robin Hood said. Then, bless you. Then we shall be showered with compliments for all our good intentions. After all, praise is the currency of the brave. Suddenly, the doors opened, and Bob and Charlotte rushed into the commissary. They were flushed. They were out of breath, as if they had run the whole way, and then a moment later, Trollbella entered behind them. They had moved so fast, she couldn't keep up. Hey, Mom, I've got good news. And bad news, Connor said. The bad news is Jack and Red didn't find Alex, but the good news is we know where your sister is, Charlotte panted. Connor couldn't believe his ears. You what? Turn on the news, Bob told the pirates. Channel 4, hurry. But Ricky just let Lucy perform in his club, Auburn Sally said. Change the channel, everyone yelled in unison. And the pirates reluctantly changed the channel, and everyone gathered around the television to watch the news. A reporter appeared on the screen, broadcasting live from somewhere in New York City. I'm standing on the corner of 39th Street and 5th Avenue in New York City, where police have stopped all vehicles and pedestrians from going any further, the reporter said. The NYPD are preventing everyone from entering a 2-block radius around the main branch of the New York Public Library. Police officials have yet to say a reason for such precautions, but one thing is certain, something dangerous is happening here at the library. The news station played shaky footage from a helicopter flying over the library. It was difficult to see anything except the red and blue police lights surrounding the building on all sides. This isn't the first peculiar incident in the area this week, the reporter continued. As I mentioned earlier, just a few days ago, the wreckage of a bathroom mysteriously appeared in the middle of Bryant Park, just around the corner from the library. The dumpers have yet to be identified. Did she just say that they discovered a bathroom? Connor asked. We rushed here as soon as we heard, Charlotte said. We've just learned that the police have begun We've just learned that the police have begun evacuating all the residents in the area, the reporter said. As I said, very little information is being shared at this time, but according to eyewitness reports, the iconic lion statues at the library's entrance have been vandalized. The helicopter footage showed a close-up of the library's sprawling front steps. Once the camera refocused, everyone could see that the lion statues were absent from their perches. Hey, Isabella. Instead, they could be seen standing right in front of the library's entrance, as if the beasts were guarding the front doors. For a split second, it almost looked like the statues were moving. Did you see that? The reporter asked. It appears the statues are being manipulated somehow. The one on the right looks like he's growling at the approaching police. Oh my, the lion statues knocked the officer off the ground. The police are retreating. I have never seen anything like this. If I didn't know any better, I'd say we were witnessing some magic. Connor went pale and looked at his friends in disbelief. Oh my God, he said. We gotta get to New York City. Dun, dun, dun! Meow! Meow, meow, meow! All right, the next chapter's too long to read right now, but that was pretty exciting. We'll read more tomorrow. Yeah, well, we're headed to New York City, guys. That's for sure. For sure. Grayson, how is it being here for book club in person? Is it wild?
Yeah.
Ridiculous?
Yeah.
Whoops. Oh, no.
But I feel like it's also a little fun because you have, like, in-the-moment commentary.
Yes, that's right. In the moment commentary because we have people in person. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. And I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We will read more tomorrow, and that's the whole yeah, just gone. Yep. All right, we'll go have breakfast. See you guys later.